Congresswoman Mace, thanks for being with us. Let's get right to it. Let's start with the UFO hearings yesterday. What did you get out of that?
Well, I mean, I have so many questions now that couldn't be answered yesterday. I did ask the one question, the burning question, if we had craft from elsewhere, did we get the bodies of the pilots? And Grosh, one of the witnesses, testified that we did. And so it's really interesting because this is really not about little green men. This is about government transparency versus government secrecy. This is about government accountability. This is about technology. This is about energy. One of the questions I didn't get to ask about is how are these things, if we have them, how are they powered? Are we reverse engineering? Who has the technology? Do we only have the technology? Are we developing the technology? Those kinds of questions, because it's really at the end of the day about national security and whether or not, too, that the American people have been lied to. And the thing is, John, this isn't like some crazy hearing. I mean, this is a issue that both Democrats and Republicans showed up, asked very good questions. There's been interest both in the Senate and in the House, making it bicameral. And so it was a very interesting day from that perspective.
All right. I agree with you 100%. All we want is transparency, right? Just like tell us what's going on, release the documents. American public can handle it. Whenever you start hiding things or there's the suspicion that you're hiding things or withholding information, then we all get a little antsy, right? We're all adults. Tell us what you have, put it out there, and I think that's what you guys are trying to do, right?
The difficult part is, too, is you talk to these pilots, and 95% of them are afraid to report what they might see. And there are all kinds of things when you're flying at a fast rate of speed over the water. There's light refraction. There are all kinds of things. But in some cases, there's legitimate unknown objects that are out there, and we ought to know if these are our adversaries or these are our allies. Is it us? Like, what's going on here? But we don't want our pilots to be afraid to report it for repercussions on their career. We also don't want to be lied to about it if anyone in our government is trying to cover anything up. And the third thing, too, is that where are the contractors in all of this? Where's the misappropriation of funds? Where's the money going? What's it being spent on? What programs? Are they circumventing the law to use private government contractors instead so that they can, sort of quasi be above board here? And it could be about possible government corruption.
Well, listen, you guys are trying to get to the bottom of this. There's so many things you're fighting in there. It's pretty incredible. You're just trying to get to the truth. Speaking of the truth, tell us about the Devon Archer situation. He's coming in, I guess, and he keeps putting it off. He's saying his life's at risk. He's been threatened. You were really the first one, and I've told everybody that will listen to me about your TikTok video or whatever that video was that you did coming out of the Treasury Department where you were physically shaken. And I know you don't get shaken. It's just not your MO. It's not what you do. And so now we got Devon Archer coming in. What do you look for here?
Well, he's going to come in Monday for a transcribed interview to answer our questions. He was Hunter Biden's best friend, or BFF. He was one of his business partners, and they did many different deals together. And what he will say on the record under oath is that Joe Biden was in the room not just one or two times, dozens of times. And with other witness testimony, we may end up finding out that it was hundreds of times that Joe Biden was in the room while they were doing deals, getting paid off, and using Joe Biden as a conduit to get policy, to get people fired, to get investigations buried and covered up. But that was actually going on. And we need witnesses because the mainstream media, John, they aren't doing the investigating. When Watergate happened, it was the media blowing the lid on everything that was going on with Nixon and his administration. But now everything gets swept under the rug. And so it's up to us, the Oversight Committee, the Judiciary Committee, the Ways and Means Committee, to provide as much evidence as humanly possible to the American people so that they can decide what is the truth and what's being covered up. And really I'm trying not to take an opinion on it, but the evidence is so damning and it's so overwhelming. You just can't continue to ignore it anymore. This might go down as the most politically corrupt president in U.S. history. You can't bury that under the rug.
What are we waiting for on impeachment? I mean, you got one of your colleagues, Ken Buck, out on TV, Fox News. We call it TV for stupid people. He's out yesterday talking about, we got to focus on A probes, 12 A probes. Everybody knows that's going nowhere. Why can't you get What is McCarthy waiting for? I know you talked to him. What is he waiting for?
I haven't spoken to him about an impeachment inquiry, and when all this was going down last week, I was recovering from my third bout of COVID, so I'm still getting up to speed on it. But the one thing I will tell you is we can't politicize. I don't want to see us politicize impeachment. That's what Pelosi did. That's what she did, Democrats did when Trump was president. We don't want to do that. We have to be better than that. And what we have to do is show an overwhelming abundance of evidence, follow the law, follow the Constitution. If there's going to be an inquiry investigated that opened up, that we do it to the full level of the law, like through the judiciary, through committee, have hearings, have due process, those kinds of things, and do it right. And it takes a little bit of time to build up that evidence. You can't just say, hey, we think this happened. We have to have multiple witnesses, multiple whistleblowers, documentary evidence. And we're getting there, but I don't think we have enough of that evidence. It's got to be tapes. It's got to be witnesses. It's got to be people that can say, Joe Biden was in the room. Joe Biden was paid off. Joe Biden is corrupt, money laundering, et cetera, bribery, all the things. We have to show that case. Anything short of that will not get the votes. We have too many members that are already walking the plank because of other votes that they've taken. Those that are living in Biden districts, one Biden districts. I would like Republicans to stay in the majority in the House, and we can't lose those members. And so we have to be very thoughtful. We have to be better than the left. We have to do it more constitutionally than the left has done in previous years, and we can't politicize it. So I want us to be deliberate and be thoughtful, let the evidence guide us, not the inquiry itself, but build the evidence, build the case, and then you go for an impeachment inquiry when there is absolutely no doubt that this is what has happened.